Hello, Taurus. Thank you for joining us. This is Rosemary coming to you from ANSARA Angels Avi. This Angelscope is for both Taurus Sun and Taurus Moon. These are your November 2014 Christian Angel answers from your Taurus Angel Asmodel, who resides over fixed Earth. Taurus leaves October behind with the wandering thought, every dog has his day. So they say. And now it's finally Rudolph's turn, taking full advantage of the preeminence and glamour of the Beaver Moon on the 6th of the month of November. Now, before we get into the influences of the Beaver Moon on the 6th of November and how it will affect the planet and you, what we want to do is just let you know that we've been able to read on air some people's questions, people we have established rapport with, either through doing readings on email or on the phone or in person at seminars. We've been able to establish rapport with some individuals where the questions are reasonable and we can reasonably answer them. And some of them are winners of contests and whatnot. So, if we didn't get any questions from anybody who was a Taurus for a very long time. So if you'd like to go ahead and send it in, you can do that. But again, it has to be somebody we've already established some kind of rapport with. Somebody that we've already, that we do readings for. It's just sort of our little gift. Besides just a contest you can enter, our little gift, if you want your answers, we kind of place it in a lottery and pull out the winner. But since not too many Taurus really send in questions, so if you're Taurus, you have a good chance of having your name chosen to have your question read on the air. So please go ahead and send those in. Make them reasonable and make them clear. Make your purpose clear. Send it to Rosemary at readingsbyrosemary.com. Okay, now we'll continue with Asmodel's transmission. Okay. Busy little beavers are building their dams up in the extreme regions with much expectancy of the frigid, wintry snow. Native Americans, true to their autumn rituals, set beaver traps in the 11th month marked by the Latin word revealing the true secret number of this month, which is 9. Like 9, like novena, but the number is 11, 9/11 in October. It's like 8, and then 10 is the number of the month. So there's always a discrepancy of 2, like in the metric system and the system that we use, the English system, we have 12, but from measuring a king's foot. It's like the twin towers, one larger than the other, the sun and the moon, one brighter than the other, and one that's reflective. These kinds of, like the Romeo and Juliet story, these are all like, you can read IlluminatiMatrix.org and see what that's about. But this sets this reality matrix into motion. Because without seeking between, is it this or is it this, there's no life, because there's no movement. It creates that Mobius strip that just keeps life going. And the infinity symbol or the number 8. Yes? Secrets abound and unfold, with the bull forever seeking which is correct, as we just mentioned, 9 or 11 this month, continuing with Asmodel's transmission. Take it in angelic script, and then we transliterate it to English, and then we try to make it make sense for you. Ever seeking between 2 numbers and the double mind of the bicameral universe where the essence of the soul resides, within the black hole of time. This information cannot be lost no matter what Hawking says about the matter and is ever spewed from the circulating, swarming, luminous light, temporarily chained within the depths of the darkness at the center of the galaxy. The center of the universe is where there is found the true God, who is the prime consciousness. And prime light we are all shards sprung from when the world soul was shattered. As we bring this world soul back together again, we become God again, not in ourselves, but rather in our relationship to each other, our communion, our common miracles, bestowing ever gifting from a limitless light. Let there be light, fiat lux. Here is found the light in the barren womb of the stony tomb of Lilith. Here is the spark of light, formed cleanly and sternly into an entire new being. Resurrection and cleanliness happens in death. If a person chooses cremation like the ancient Greek and Viking gods, with the demigods, excuse me, the heroes like Achilles, these kind of people, then they reincarnate rather quickly, and they have much honor and glory in the life that follows. They're sort of heroic, and they give of themselves, self-sacrificing, and then they go through that kind of a funeral pyre, and then they end up having a lot of glory in the subsequent incarnation of the reincarnating ego, yes? Now, if somebody chooses to be inside some kind of stony, especially some kind of stone kind of encasement, and the body becomes corrupt, what happens is all the corruption is sucked out of the soul by the physical body. And then the soul goes on to become, it doesn't reincarnate because the ego is completely gotten rid of. And by sucking out this corruption. And the soul goes on to become pure and immortal, and the glorified body is there, and there is never any corruption after that. That's quite an amazing thing with which to understand. Yes? Now, people who want annihilation, it's possible, but eventually you wake up. Eventually you wake up, because the center, the lower chakra, is where the god Tahan Sohan, I have it written down, I haven't memorized it yet. Tahan Sohan is sort of the Buddha in the center, the Buddhist god in the center of the earth, not the galaxy, not the universe, in the center of the earth, from where all things spring forth. Sort of that darkness that's between the sound and the silence. And then from there is born the heart cauldron, which in the Tao's alchemy, which is Yahweh, which is a tetragrammaton, the fire letters, where a person can begin to wake up again, the Father, and then where the Tahan Sohan only loves the self. And the Yahweh loves the self and the Son. And the Son is born, and that is at the center, the God at the center of the universe, the King of the universe, which is Jesus Christ, which is the frozen light at the center of the universe. So, this God has love of everything, and is the mediator, or the neutron, that has not a positive nor an electric charge, and is a mediator between the electron and the proton. So that's how these cauldrons, and that's in the pineal and the upper region of the brain, the seat of the soul, the pineal. The pituitary isn't really the seat of the soul, but it's very important in transferring the soul. Okay, a lot of information there. And at these times when you're doing angel transmissions, one must drink water and try to keep oneself cool. Because, excuse me, these angels sort of ignite the pineal and pituitary areas of the brain. And then the whole brain gets a lot of activity, yes? A lot of electrical, bioelectrical activity going on. So continuing with the transliteration from Asmodel for you, Taurus. Now is the time for capturing beavers in sturdy traps before the wetlands freeze over. Now, why do we go from an angelic to like a sort of a ritualistic nature spirit kind of energy right here from Native American teachings? Because it calms down what we just talked about, so that you don't short circuit your brain, quite frankly. So that's why we do this. After all, Taurus, we must get our winter furs supplied before the freeze sets into the bark of the potent, austere trees, yearning to be chopped down for Christmas festivities. So get your proper tree this year. It's kind of Cain's sacrifice, and that will enable you to have possessions. Whereas like Thanksgiving, the killing of the turkey, that's for Abel sacrifice, that kind of thing. I mean, you know, different kinds of, like spring they have other sacrifices of lambs and whatnot, but you kind of follow your rituals because they allow you to have the things you want. That Thanksgiving allows you more things of the heart, whereas Christmas allows you more things of possessions. Yes? After all, Taurus, we must get our winter furs supplied before the freeze sets into the bark of these trees. For the festivities. Excuse me, I read that again. Okay, so getting a running start. Continuing with the Asmodel transmission. Prime Creator exalts, this is very important, Prime Creator exalts the planet Mercury. The planet Mercury is exalted very high this month in November, and the bull will feel the effects. You will feel the effects of Gemini the twins and Virgo the virgin influencing your mental capabilities over the birth of the sun, from the house of Libra, bearing its seed, bringing to fruition the 13th runestone seed Iwas, within the house of Scorpio. The rune of Iwas brings the luck of the princess trapped in the castle of the king for the making of golden thread from simple straw. This luck penetrates through the portal of the green sun of Vril, remembering the Yggdrasil seed of the world tree genetic code, showing the force of the unity of life and death, held in the clutches of the sharpened claws of Lilitu. Those sure of eye and hand, lance arrows shot from bow into the very throat of the game boar, where sights are lovingly set. For we must love our victim if we are to imprison it for our sacrificial Mabon feast. Now, Dr. Michael Lightman says, from Kabbalah Info on YouTube, that love a fish, eat a fish. You have to love something in order to have it be a fitting sacrifice. And we're going to get into the sacrifice of the lamb and Jesus in a moment here. But this loving it, actually, you know, loving it like a pet and giving it a name and then having to sacrifice it and eat it is a very important rite of passage. But we're going to talk about this here in a moment, because this, the age of Aquarius, is now kind of going to be changed a little bit. And you'll see in a moment here how that's going to unfold. It's very important. Even in a desolate, frozen wasteland, continuing with the runestones and the seeds from the runestones, the brawny and quick can hunt and bring to full intention any game, allowing family and kin to feast the delight of the 8th runestone seed of Wunjo, where the bull's happiness is again found in great numbers and overwhelming crowds. Love matters become tranquil for those not prepared with fully stocked bounty for relatives, lovers, and friends alike. So really, this month, everybody has got to get their ducks in a row and get things that they have to give. You have to give from your bounty. You have to give in some way, shape, or form. Give something. If you don't have money, give time. If you don't have time, give money. If you don't have either, give food. You know, go to your local churches, synagogues, mosques, whatever, and give food for the hungry. You know, give this month. But it's not really a month per se to give to strangers. It's more of a month to give to your family, to those people closest to you. And that's sort of in keeping with, the whole Thanksgiving thing. So that's very important. People are going to expect it of you. They expect it of everybody this month, but especially you, Taurus, because the bull is so strong. And we're going to see here, too, how the runestone of Fehu is going to really bring this home. The spirit of sharing and sharing alike in November are unwitting victims of second-guessing. A lot of us, we're second-guessing ourselves, and that's the problem. But, just go with it. And just try not to second-guess yourself too much. We're all guilty of that, but try not to do it too much. Due to the aforementioned exaltation of the planet Mercury, giving rise to logic over desire and fairness over choice. So this second-guessing is coming from Mercury being exalted. And people who have a lot going on with Mercury, say their Mercury is in Gemini or Virgo, are really going to be second-guessing themselves because you're thinking too much and thinking too fast. You're going way over everybody's head. However, the information is important. So just go with it. Those of you, everybody needs to look where their Mercury is this month. It's really going to affect you. All of us, but it's really going to affect you. Would-be lovers, very important. Would-be lovers and saviors are seeking much advice in November from those who can see clearly through the storm, finding a way through and out of awful circumstance and judgmental situations. Luck is made available by the gods, and the mighty Zeus releases Poseidon from his watery dungeon, bidding Hades to release the bulls of your house of Taurus, cleansed by the fires of 7 months past. The mighty seed of the runestone Fehu races forward and charges the bull in a frenzied stampede of like-minded species. Sort of a Gandalf puts Fehu on the door moment. Who was that? It's not, is it Frodo? Or was it his uncle? I can't remember their names, excuse me, at the moment. But that moment. Okay. November is a time when opportunity is knocking. And there is always a way through the storm. These storm clouds are brewing steadily from the horrors of war. That's what's causing it. And the promise of majesty. Because what does everybody want? Everybody wants glory and honor. Everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants to have power over other people. People don't feel good. People don't spend their money. People don't, like real estate doesn't come into a busy time. And, business doesn't come into a busy time unless people are at war because they feel like they're pounding someone else. They feel like they're able to hurt somebody else and lord it over and have their way. It's the only time people feel good enough to do these kinds of things as spend money. If that's not happening, people are so apathetic because they just don't feel good. So that's why it's probably best to express this kind of thing in some kind of sports or some kind of physical sports or computer gaming. Very important to feel like you're really able to, overcome other people. Everybody has got to feel that way. So everybody's going to be given the technology to be able to feel that way in their own little environment. We're going to get into that too when we get into money matters. And even into health matters. We're going to find how that's going to be brought out so that everybody can, in a safe way, be God in their own little universe, right? Because we're all gods in our own universe, right? Now, November is a good time to remember, back to Esmeralda's transmission. November is a good time to remember that although money can buy the possessions of love, it cannot buy the thing in and of itself. For that is attained with deed and cooperation, buttressed by much friendship, camaraderie, and eons of time. Now, people are going to tell you, oh, I'm sorry. Seriously. I'm sorry that if I did this or that, I'm very sorry. However, they're sorry they got caught. Everybody's like that. But people are going to be coming after you for your money and your possessions. Even if you think you don't have money and possessions, you do. They have You have a sturdiness they want, and besides, your money is now going to be movable. It's going to be liquidated. So you need to understand that, you know, they're going to be coming at you, trying to get things from you. They're sorry. They're sorry they got caught. The bull may think that it is essential to have choice of loves, and, you know, lovers, love, whatever, always and evermore, leading to much freedom and pleasure. Because the bull likes comfort. The bull is a comfort creature, ruled by Venus. You will find quite the contrary to be true, nevertheless, Taurus. You're sort of the night aspect of your ruling planet of Venus, where Libra is the day aspect of your ruling planet of Venus. So Libra and Taurus have this dual day-night thing going on. If true heartfelt love is what you need, then you must make the choice you know will bring you just that. All things are born of their class. So whatever you are choosing will bring you exactly that choice. Nothing more and nothing less. People are what they are, and although some wiggle room is found in all life when exposed to enough light, systems are set into place very early on in life, as you will know, Taurus. By the time you're 12, your whole personality is done. Most of it by the time you're 3. So by the time you're 8, almost, what, 95%? By the time you're 12, done already. 80% by the time you're 3, so, you know, people are pretty much what they are. And unless, of course, the Holy Spirit comes in, then you have the ability to change, because you can change your environment. You can change what you read and who you hang out with, and then everything changes. Money matters prove to be in disarray in November. Now, Taurus, the bull is just overturned this month when it comes to cash and economic matters. Business as usual is always preferable, but new ideas and new ways of doing things undermine the will of those who want things the way they used to be. It's no longer a world run by the enablers, but is a new form of the old world where an eye costs an eye and a tooth costs a tooth for all beings. There is no longer a need to sacrifice the innocent. This is what we were talking about earlier. But as what else you're trying to say is we don't need to sacrifice the innocent doves and lambs anymore. Although Dr. Stephen Greer mentioned that doves, although they may not have gall, they can be pretty vicious. So look that up. The new eon, now firmly in place, calls in the sacrifice of the guilty. For why should the innocent lambs like Jesus be sacrificed? Should not Judas Iscariot be held responsible instead for his deceitfulness and duplicity? They say, no one says life is fair, but Taurus begs to differ. Life should be fair, and it will be if I have anything to do with it. Over the ages, human persons have tried to make some sense of things. They have attempted to overstand each other's behavioral attitudes, modifying the patterns to the end of exchange devoid of care. So we have all these markets that don't care about people, and all these systems of, you know, healthcare and all these things that don't really care about people, like insurance, but they just care about the money. So this has been what has been. And these kinds of things has been. The new way is systems, markets that have compassion in them. Health markets and industry, you know, industries that care about the health of people, not just money. Raj Patel had this excellent books, you know, The Value of Nothing. It's very important. Okay. All other creatures in the universe are created by the Prime Exaltrix in cooperation with the Prime Exalter, are prone to unreasonable behavior of love which of course has no logic put to it. This is why people don't want to have love involved in commerce, because there's no logic and it cannot be controlled or understood until we get intelligence of the heart brought in. Then it can be understood, and that's what's happening. Rather, it is an overrun, plagued back to the transmission, by pathological symptoms of ludicrous gropings, in the vain attempt to reach a higher state of mind as well as body. The amorphous bodies are unwilling and unable to reach states of abundant altars due to their inability to congeal into the alchemical wedding of spirit and matter. How do we fuse spirit into matter is what Oswald was saying here, for the purpose of immortalizing flesh. Well, that's going to, as we said earlier, the flesh will suck all the corruption out of the soul. This is why people make deals with corrupt powers in order to maintain their flesh. Now, at the moment, I understand, but that's a bit over my head when it comes to how to proceed. Don't stand in hell's way, but right now, don't stand in heaven's way, is what I'm getting from some of the powers that be in the, remember, Washington, D.C. and the Vatican and Vatican City and London are three powers that have the needle of Osiris. And these are nations in and of themselves. I mean, nobody's talking to me, but I'm just saying, I'm getting just a transmission from Asmodel about these three nations that are within, of course, the United States, within, of course, Italy, and within, of course, London itself and England. They're very powerful, and they know about this more than I do. This is a bit over my head. I just picked that up for some reason from Asmodel. Okay, back to the transmission. When those who do business are lucid and clear intentioned, complete cohesiveness between you and your money, yourself and your business, your intention and your reality become one and the same, where the bull's work is in constant similitude with the martial aspects of a fierce mind. This is where J.J. Hertak's works are very important, the keys of evil. The fervent, unstoppable will meets the immovable object of trade and barter, carving out a piece of mind stuff in a cookie-cutter fashion that is just the right size and shape for your vessel of intention to bring you the most perfect and delightful answer to your dreams toss. This brings us to the runestone seed of Sowilo, that again is going in the exact opposite direction you would normally have it proceed. This is due to an I care so much milieu plus distant observation equals I can't cope with it equation used by the bull to study the behavior of all creatures, then employing a subsequent attempt to absorb the proverbial bullet, so that both the potency of the bull and those loved are safe. So when something seems unsafe, you want to sort of take it for those you care about, as we all do. However, the bull is very strong in this manner. Now, those who are vicious are really going to come at you again. You're the target this month of November, one of the main targets. So just don't get overly defensive. Don't try to be too careful, but just be mindful and relaxed, and understand that people probably cannot be trusted too much this month. Okay? This is quite necessary. To forego any conclusions that the will here discussed is in any way malleable to anything other than planetary influences set in constant motion by the higher powers of Prime Creatrix and Prime Creator, who exist in the shadow of the Prime Exalter and the Prime Exaltrix. Health matters are plenary, if however stark for the bull in November. The runestone seed number 1 of Fehu rushes towards the allowance of pristine freedom bestowed from the assets of biotech. Biotech, ready for those who would grab the holographic ring of transhumanism. If Virgin America Airlines can fly the upper echelons to the moon and beyond, and this is going on, and has been going on, and will go on, and is going on, then why not give those who remain on planet a new toy such as holographic entertainment? Seriously. By the same token, physicians can now begin to rival nature by mimicking her so well. Those in need of true healing of body and brain can gain just that. Miracles can be attained by a simple, unrelenting faith in divine providence, as the children of Abel would have it, or it can be gotten by the provisions of the mind of man, as Cain would have it. Humans have come to earth to combine the DNA of Cain and Abel to deliver a new faith and religion to humankind, where both consciousness called soul, and purpose called spirit, is found infused inseparably into matter, granting immortality to those who desire and merit such a state of being. If you desire it, truly desire it, not want, not need, but desire it truly, then you automatically merit it. Like if you attain something through your reckoning, then it's not forbidden. If you can't understand it, you cannot attain it. If you can understand it, you can attain it. Okay. Continuing with Asmodee's transmission. The bull will find that the entire month of November is very thrilling. Indeed, very thrilling, as a result of new obsessions and going for it. Enjoy this Thanksgiving holiday, seasonal dinners, and events, Taurus. Often you're just too darn put upon to attend. But enjoy it this month. But mainly, again, with family and friends that you trust. Enjoy the turkey, mashed potatoes, and cranberry sauce. And don't forget the pumpkin pie for your health, vitality, vim, and vigor. Be wise, be well, be all you are meant to be, Taurus. Your divine tone of I have has even more fun in November. Thank you for joining us, Taurus, and join us again next month.